Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Microsoft Flight Simulator VR Cape to Cairo in a Cessna 152 journey. We've done a bunch of flights. If you want to familiarize yourself with the rules, they're here on the screen, but you can also watch episode 1 for a bit more in depth. Previous flight, the flight itself was great. All of our VORs worked well, but we had a terrible takeoff, and that was mainly due to the complete wrong wind direction that was chosen. The wind was effectively coming directly from the side, which somehow we made it, but I would have not enjoyed to be in that flight. If we this was the previous flight, as I said, quite a nice flight, but now we're in a bit of a pickle because there are no VORs nearby that offer us any, except for this one, but it's a very short range one, that offer us any route to any airport in the direction we want to go. So we're gonna stick with my sort of thumb rule of going to the closest one possible, which will be this one. So there's a bit of a benefit here in that it is at least within on the fringes of this VOR here, so we might be able to use that to our advantage. We can probably use this road and maybe even the VOR we're flying away from, just to make sure we capture this road, because I don't want to get lost by maybe following the wrong road here. So we'll use that as our starting point, and then we hope to use some landmarks again, but this is going to be very much visual flying. With maybe, as I said, maybe we can still pick up this VOR. It will be very nice. But that will be a bonus. So if we can go ahead and reset all, I think we can keep our measurement rings for now. We can clear the measurement lines. Sure, let's save this one. So this will tell us at least some the distances of this VOR. I'm not sure how exact the game would be with that. It seems to have, even in our previous flights while we're inside here, it seems to come and go, and I'm guessing it's due to mountains here in the middle. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna take off here. Let's take off runway 4. Although, yeah, okay, we're gonna take off runway 4, but we'll immediately need to turn right. We'll need to cross this first highway and then see, there are multiple roads here. This is gonna be very tricky. So I think it's a very good point that we're gonna use our VOR as a way to, oops, just want to find my arrow keys. Here we go. As a way to make sure that we get to this road. That's not necessarily the direct path to our airport. We can't unfortunately completely use that, because that's gonna mean, we're gonna lose the VOR at this point, and then we'll be a little bit lost. So let's at least aim for this point. Here, that's 38 miles. But we care more about the angle here, so we're going to take off, fly at that angle. At this point, I don't see other roads that will, although there's one. Okay, if we get far enough, we'll be able to use that. And then, as I said, I'm not sure if it's going to be if we'll pick it up. We've had ups and downs with VORs. Let's prepare for in case we do find it. I'm just finding my arrow keys here. Go. So then at the very least, you know, we'll know. Yeah, that's where we're going. We'll know if we intercept this this VOR, we can at least see if we've crossed it, gone too far, etc. So what are we gonna do? What else do we need to do really? Let's just set this. I think there's a nice salt pan here that could be useful. Let's just have a look at this runway. Let's see, how do I get the show information for the airport? It says the wind prefers runway 36. We learned last time that that's not always going to be the best, but I haven't figured out a better way for that yet. Although I might use the built-in Microsoft Flight Simulator to sort of tell me that. Okay, so that's what we have. We have this VOR that we're leaving from. We're only going to use that in this initial phase to make sure we intercept this road, and then we're going to use that road as a marker. I saw now in the game that it has a little bit more, you know, satellite maps. I'll just quickly use that as well to confirm, like, does this actually look green, and maybe other markers around here. It looks like a very small town. This runway, does it show me runway hard? I'm not sure what that means. If it wasn't bitumen like the other one, so maybe it's like, did that say cement? Yes. Okay, so it's a cement runway. It looks like a fairly large, you know, parking spaces and things. Maybe we'll see. I'm not sure what this airport its purpose is here, or if it's a flying school or something, but let's see. 62 nautical miles, a little bit hopefully closer than last time. I think, you know, let's just get it. So I think I already put in Flight Simulator these two airports, so that should be fine, and we can get our frequencies. I should probably know this one, 116.5. Yeah, I should probably know that one by heart now. And let's get to the setup. Yeah, so I already set our airports. I see the weather seems to be a little bit cloudy. So if we just take a look at this map as well, how well will we see this road is sort of the question. I think there are so many roads here. We need to just confirm. It's probably, yeah, it's this one. Okay, that looks good. The salt pan, as I said, looked green on that other map, but I think this is just this is probably gonna look more like this. So that will be a good marker for us to fly over, to come land here. Unfortunately, this I can't get this huge window to disappear. So that, okay. There's a little town, and the second part of the town. Interesting. So 2 areas of the town. We should just remember that. Somehow my time takeoff time jumped to 6 o'clock. I don't think we want to go 6 o'clock. Let's do quite like the early morning ones, but we probably don't want to go too early because we're gonna need to see this road. I think it's that one. Yes. Okay, I think that's enough planning, although I don't think it's ever quite enough. Let's have a go. Before I do that, I just want to double check, because I'd made the same mistake last time. Oops.
Keepmanship traffic Cessna 42, taking off runway 04 north departure.
It's not wanting me to go to little nav map. Why is it not wanting me to go to little nav map? Let's just minimize that. Okay. Yes, I forgot the trail on again. Okay, trail is off, so we won't be seeing... Ooh, okay. It feels like that plane is moving. Okay, sorry about that. Again, the ready to fly thing. Okay, so this is where we landed last time. We did see there's the windsock. Okay, we are at least flying into the wind. That's great. If we quickly bring up our plan. We remember we're going to use the Uppington one again, 116.5, and we're gonna be for it on the. Should I put that one maybe on the bottom? Yeah, let's put that one at the bottom. 116.5. Might as well keep it as a backup because we're only gonna have two. That way we can also get the distance measurement equipment. But for it, we're going to go at 342. That's going to be the final. Probably should have gone the other way. That's where the airport is going to be at. But as I said, I'm not too confident that we'll actually pick that one up. 340. 41, 42, what's that? 339, that's up. Okay, 341, 342. Okay, so we'll have that as a bonus, but we might not make it. We're very much on the edge of it. So our primary one, it's gonna be 112.9er. Let's tune that one in here. 112.9er, and we're gonna use that one with DME. This one might even come alive right now because we're basically how far? 0.7 miles away, which makes about sense. We're right there, and it's right there. So. I wonder if they actually model it. I don't think so, but it's an interesting looking antenna. It's like this round thing with 360 antennas on it, one for every angle. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to take off. We're probably not going to fly that plan like it said there. We're going to take off and we're going to go a little bit sharper, intercept this line. Intercept it till at least. Now we're gonna, at this point, we'll see some roads. We want to make sure we intercept it a little bit further. Maybe at least, if that's 38, maybe at like 30. We should have measured that, but we should make sure that we're at least 30 miles away so as we don't choose the wrong road. We don't want to follow that road and go the wrong way. So what's our angle going to be here? 79. Is that 60? Oops. 70. Let's just see if that's 80, 79. Okay, so we're gonna take off. We're not gonna care about it while we're sitting here. Take off, make a sharp intercept bank with that one. Keep it till about. We'll see if we see a road at the bottom, and we'll check. But we're gonna wait till about 30 to. Around about there, see if we can can intercept that road, and we're just gonna follow that road. We'll have a look and see if nav2. Let's tune that one in here, 116. Did I do that correctly? Yeah. If we ever get to pick up Uppington's VOR again. Okay, I think that's good enough for me. Let's turn off the map. Flaps. This is the flap lever. This is the mixture lever. This is the throttle lever. They're probably they're important for right now. So the parking brake is this side. As I said, for some reason this modded plane starts me on the runway with it off. I don't understand why. I would think you would want it to be on, so we can turn it on. Oops. I did not plug in my joystick. Just give me 1 second. So I'm just quickly having a look here. Whoops. I'm just quickly having a look. And there we go. That's why we test that we have controls. Yep, throttle. So that would be the parking lever in the on state. Okay, everything seems good. Sorry about that quick delay. Let's go. This time, hopefully our landing will our takeoff will be a little bit more smooth. Although I say this, why not great. I definitely something I'm doing wrong. Probably I may have waited too long. Just remember that speed very quickly picked up. But okay. Just gonna give the VOR a little bit. There we go. There it goes over the screen. That probably means it's right there. We're going to. We can probably already start. Let me just turn this volume up. We're going to start with that intercept plan. So we're gonna cross what our intended heading is. There we go. And then we're gonna go towards it.
1 miles northeast of Keepmanship, 4,000 feet. Request flight following.
May have overcorrected there a little. That's okay.
Squawk 5056, Cessna 42.
I'm gonna bring up.
Cessna 42 radar contact, 2 miles east of Keepmanship, 4,400 feet.
There we go. I'm not sure why I decided to close the map, but let's keep it here. Okay, we see some roads. Where we're going, we are gonna need some roads, ironically, because they're gonna be our primary method of navigating here. I wonder if that road there is the one we're looking for. Let's intercept our VOR radial again. And have a look at that range. 2.5 nautical miles, 2.6. That's good. Flying directly into the sun, into the direction of the sun. I see a bunch more clouds now. We're gonna hope that the visibility stays good, because yeah, we're going to really rely on our eyes for this one. Just slowly trying to get that line lined up. Okay, I see a road there that makes a bit of a fork, and that was what my big concern was. So maybe maybe that's that fork, and we from this position want the right-hand one, but I'm going to wager that that is the case. Luckily we don't have to worry that much. We still have our VOR, and we should still maintain it for at least 38 miles. It's going to be interesting to see if it falls off exactly at 38, or if they modeled that more, accurately in a simulator. A lot of people have asked me how I'm recording this. There are a few ways you can record it. You can probably record it on your computer using a bunch of tools, maybe like OBS or others. Because of the, let's say, I don't want to say limitations of my PC, but because it's just good enough to make this an acceptable experience, I try to not put any extra load on it. So therefore I'm recording this directly on the Quest 3 headset. The benefit of that is it also records the audio. So if I were to turn my head like this and speak, the headset is actually turning with me, so hopefully the audio stays the same. Whereas if I had a microphone in front of me, which I still think would be a better approach for the future, but if I were to do that, it might be an interesting, almost ASMR-like experience if you can hear me turning my head away from the microphone, but I don't think, I think this is good enough for now. But yeah, so I'm recording it directly on the Quest 3. That's why my cable was plugged out now. Then I transfer it to my computer over USB, give it a quick scan, make sure the audio worked, make sure there's no obvious flaws, and then we upload it. I'm still playing around with the idea of making shorter, summary style videos. Maybe one day, if I'm wanting to learn more about video editing, that might be something to do, because I know this type of video is not the flashiest, most interesting, sound effects and cool camera memes everywhere. This is more of a journey and more of a laid back type of experience. I was gonna probably do this anyway, and I just thought, by me or me deciding to make this video sort of also gives me a bit of motivation to do it. Just gonna quickly interrupt myself and try and get a little bit more on our heading. Though I think this is the road, but I don't want to make the mistake, so I'll rather quickly get onto the radial and follow my initial plan. But yeah, having sort of a bit of motivation to do this, sharing it, I think is just fun. I honestly don't really know if anyone is watching this or if they're skipping through the just to the landings and the things. Well, fair enough. That's, I guess, all the most interesting parts. But you know, if there are people watching this, thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, you know, please, you're more than welcome to let me know. Right now, I'm just sort of sending these out into the void, but I have found myself a few times. Maybe this is a bit egotistical of me, but after just recording a video and then starting to watch it to check for timestamps for the YouTube thing, or to just double check the audio and things, I find myself watching a little bit longer than I thought I would. And I sort of forget that it's me. It feels a bit surreal. Hearing my own voice, it's a bit strange, but so far I've been really enjoying it. We'll see where this goes. Okay, so this is the... I do think this is the big road. I do think so. I think that other one there is probably the side road. If we just have a quick look. So we are... we're off to the right. Yeah, that makes sense. We are off to the right of the VOR, of the radial, and the road is off to the right. And there aren't any other roads to that right, at least within a very long time. So, you know what could possibly go wrong? We're gonna assume that this is our road. We're about 15 miles away from the Keetmanshoop airport. That means we're roughly almost halfway into the range of this VOR. We're still, if I just have a quick look here, we should be getting into the range where theoretically we can pick up the other VOR, but as I said, that's a bonus. That's a pipe dream. I'm not gonna rely on that at all. As soon as we've exited the range of this VOR and we're still on that road, we'll just need to be extremely focused. Because if we then if we fly past the runway without seeing it, or that little town, we are going to be in trouble. Very pretty landscapes here. little bit of cloud banks here in the front. I'm not too sure what the procedure would be in this case. Would I try and fly over it and not be able to see the road? Or do I try and fly a little bit lower, at least have some sight of the ground, but also then risk hitting the ground if I can't see? I don't know. Let's also just see we're about 7,000 feet in the sky. Let's just, there we go. I don't know if you could hear that, but the engine sounded a little bit more happy when I pulled it out. There we go. Now I lean the mixture. Okay, that's good. There we go. Speed is increasing a little bit. But these clouds are starting to bother me a little bit. So if I look at that map, you see that road. Oops, that road does veer off. Ooh. It does veer off a little to the right, which would, correspond with what we're seeing there. And then we see the road roughly turn back to the blue line. I don't know if you can see it there. So if all goes well, we're going to follow this road, and we should gently see that needle coming back to the middle. Then we'll probably be at that. I can just get the mouse out here to show you. We'll probably be at that intersection there, and then well, there's another one, but at that point we'll start losing the VOR. Okay. Really just hoping this is missed. That'll get burnt away by that sun. Yeah, looking at the just having a quick browse at the map, I think our next flight is going to be even less VOR enabled, if you will. I don't see anything really in that vicinity. It's going to be finding landmarks. I mean, especially in a country like this where I'm not seeing any big mountains here. I'm not seeing, there are few and far between cities. It's hard to discern a river from just some crack in between two hills. So roads will probably be our safest bet. Okay, we are ever so slightly, as expected, getting closer to our needle. I'm gonna try and increase my airspeed a little bit. I thought about it earlier, if it's going to be interesting if I count all the hours of the videos at the end, if we make it, and see, you know, what the total flight time is going to be. I should probably check, you know, what an airliner's time will be. The airliner will probably be around, really just guessing, 10 hours maybe to get to Cairo. Maybe 9, I'm not sure. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, the difference between me having to obviously navigate and fly. We're going to do a couple of scenic routes, obviously, but obviously the main part of that equation is the fact that this airplane, I'm usually flying at around 100 knots, which I think is slower than what your typical airliner lands. It's slower than their landing speed. So we are again not setting any records with this flight. But on the other hand, an airliner doesn't get to experience the countries, doesn't get to have this level of terrain, seeing how it changes around you and seeing, you know, more the little parts of the country. I mean, from 30,000 feet you don't see much. So and in this case, it's very, very much the cliche of it's about the journey, not the destination. But I do think it is going to be fun. We will definitely do some flybys past the pyramids there. I have done it before, but this time I think it'll be a lot more sweeter. So yeah. We are at about 30 miles from VOR. We're pretty much intercepting our radial that we thought we would, and this is exactly the point where the road is. So I think this is all going to plan. I'm a little bit scared that but I think it's a good problem to have, but I don't think we'll get there. But I'm scared that my plans are going to start working too well, and that the video will just be an uneventful flight, which in the real world I think is the most successful kind of flight probably. But I think it's a little bit fun when there's some drama, when I need to start thinking on my feet and planning. Okay, I see something here in front, but it does seem to extend that way. It almost appears like some sort of dam. So I was guessing we were around here. No, we can't be that far, sorry. 32 nautical miles, so the road makes a bit of a sharp bend. Could that be it? Probably. And then goes away, and then okay, so nothing on this map is showing anything there. I really wish, although no, it can't be this. This is too far from the road. Don't think it's that. So there is a little map you can bring up in the game that has the satellite map view, but unfortunately that also shows my position on there. If if you can figure out, or if you know how to show that map, the one I'm talking about will be this one here. If you maybe know how to show that map but not show your own position, I think that would be an immense amount of help, because then I'll be able to have at least more visual cues to go on, because as we saw now, this map, it didn't show whatever this is. It looks like another salt pan maybe, or maybe just a dried up lake or dam or something. And it's definitely not on, or at least I didn't see it on there. Okay, we're close to 36 nautical miles from our VOR, with the range being 38. Now is going to be the interesting time to see when we lose it. In the real world, I would suspect that things like that, you know, wireless frequencies, it's not a, it's sort of a, I don't want to say black magic, but it's not as clear cut. You'll probably say at this range we'll expect this, you know, power level, and after that you won't be able to reliably get it. But it's like a real radio station probably. Like if you're very far away from it, you can still pick it up, but it won't sound as clear. It'll be interesting to see if that gets modeled in here. Obviously, that's how I think VORs would work in the real world. I don't know. That's just an assumption based off of some knowledge of radio signals. This looks very interesting. That almost looks like a dune. Speaking of dunes, I think it's a bit of a spoiler, so I'll try and not spoil it too much. But if you've watched Dune Part 2, there is a scene where Paul has a vision and he's talking to someone. I won't say the actress's name, and she's standing on a dune. But the dune is right next to a body of water or an ocean. I think that scene was also shot in Namibia. Obviously not here, but on its west coast. There's some stark contrast there of like really high dunes and then the ocean. So famous place for another famous place in Namibia for some film scenes. Okay, there, we lost it. That seemed to be right about at the 38. Right about at the 38 nautical mile range. So now we are on our own. I feel like a astronaut just having lost contact with NASA. Suddenly it's more scary now. It's an interesting pattern. Very interesting green. What could that be? Maybe, so I think a lot of this scenery is probably from some satellite images or aerial photography. You know, maybe there was some algae or something on a drying river, a drying lake bed or something. There seems to be another one that side. Interesting that they're not shown on this map. Okay. So as we said, that was 38, just over 38 nautical miles. We took off just after 8, and that means we need to go roughly that same distance following this road. Now it gets very important to not lose this road. We're going to follow this road. We're still not picking up the Uppington VOR, this big one, 116.5. As I said, highly unlikely. We even, when we were, where were we? When we were here, I think. Was this it? No, we weren't there. It's not showing me unless it was this one. Karasberg. Even when we were here, there were times when we lost it a little, so expecting it to pick up all the way there, literally on the edge, is not. I'm not betting on that. So I think it's a good exercise. This we've had cases now where we've had to fly with some level of view, like just with our eyes, but there is always the sort of a backup. This time the backup is less likely, so we'll just use our eyes. Gonna try and keep an eye on time. If that first half, if we took off just, did we take off before 8? That's maybe a note for next time. Try and remember our takeoff time. So many things, so many things. I talked to a friend earlier that's also very much into flight sim and flying in general, and I was just reminded that, you know, booking a small plane like this, not flying it yourself, but booking a flight, a scenic route or something, is probably would be very interesting to do. I've flown in, as I said before, I've flown over the Okavango Delta once in a 6-seater plane. I can't remember the type of plane, and then I flew in a microlight once, a 2-seater microlight, not the like completely exposed one. It had one of those glass, or maybe it's plastic domes in the front. That was pretty cool. And then I've flown in a helicopter once over Victoria Falls. It was an amazing experience. I wish to fly there in this series. I think with the graphics card that I have, the level of detail the terrain is, it may not necessarily look very pretty, but I think it'll be good anyway to just see it and go there. Okay, I'm seeing something there in front. I wonder what that could be. Just grab our map. Could that be our salt pan? That would It would be earlier than I thought it would, although it is quite still a distance away. Again, we're not exactly racing, but if that is the salt pan, or salt, yeah, that is the salt pan, that means we're probably getting close. Let's hope. Doesn't feel like the mist really was too much of a blocker. I've only flown in Flight Simulator once where I intentionally flew into a bit of, not exactly a storm, but strong weather, and it was incredibly scary, especially in VR. Like, you completely forget. You need to basically look at your instruments for everything. You don't know where it's up or down. You don't know how fast you're going. You don't know anything. So very much, I think, something to be avoided in this journey. I don't know how we'll avoid it. I mean, in the real world, if you... Ooh, this road suddenly becomes... Okay, it's only for a short while. And then, okay. Then we're back to a tar road, and then a dirt road, and then a tar road, dirt road, okay? That wasn't indicated on the map, but that's fine. I lost my train of thought now from this road. Oh, yeah, I think in the real world, when you do a plan, you'll probably check the weather where you are, you'll check the weather where you're going and on your route, and if the weather is bad, you just probably don't fly, in a small plane like this especially. So that's probably what we'll do as well. Or, we'll just fly around it or something. We'll figure it out. Maybe that's gonna be the thing that makes it interesting, if it's a relatively simple flight, all other things being equal. Okay, how are we feeling about that being our salt pan? There seems to be a road going through the salt pan. Am I seeing a road that side? Yeah, as I expected, we still haven't picked up Uppington's VOR, but that was never really on the table. If this is the salt pan, what do we expect to see? On this road we're on, we expect to see a left turn road at some point. There's a small one here, but it's probably close to the pan itself, and then we should see the runway and then the town. Okay. Gonna try and reduce the altitude a little bit, get a bit clearer view. some house there, probably a farm or something. Almost looks, yeah, like some sort of dam. A lot of interesting patterns here on the ground. Water, maybe. I don't know. We continue that side. It's quite pretty. Aha, okay. I do see a road. Yeah, and it's right on that. If we look at that road there, this is the road we're on. That's a side road. That appears to be that one. So I'm thinking just over this intersection, the airfield should be visible. I wonder if the salt pan has water and there's a road going through it. Maybe it's like a road that is only accessible when there isn't water in the pan. Okay, I'm gonna bring back the throttle. Our plan now is, our main goal is just to spot the runway. Remember, we're heading towards runway 36, which is effectively due north. I think it's actually 0 degrees, but you wouldn't call a runway 00. So they call it 36 for 360 degrees. Okay. Seeing something there. Is that either that line there or that line? But we're gonna go a little bit closer. We're gonna investigate. The runway seems to align with that road. So, I think I see it. I think it has to be that one there, that big... yes. So we'll do a flyby and then we'll turn around, fly over the span again, come into land here. Yes, it's clear. I'm fairly confident. Let's see if we can at least see some runway numbers. I see the middle line of the runway. It's probably not a big enough airfield to actually have runway numbers. But yeah, I think that's gonna be our airfield right there. Okay, gonna add some throttle. We're gonna fly due south because our runway heading is gonna be due north. It's quite a pretty salt pan this. I wonder how often, or like if it's always filled with water, and if it's always, or if it sometimes is completely dry and you can actually drive over it. I'm guessing it's like that because there's a road going into it. Okay, we're on the south course. Oops. Gonna try and we know it's in line with that road. That's fine. Gonna just fly a little bit away. I tend to fly away, I think, a little bit further than I probably need to. I think it just gives me more time to set everything up, to plan. I haven't had to do a flyby or yet where you effectively don't land. but it might be necessary at some point. Okay, maybe I think that should be far enough. I strongly doubt that there are any VASI lights at this airfield, so I'm always too high, so I'm gonna try and work on that a little. It does seem to be a pretty long runway. So we should be aiming for a due north, and I see the runway. Reducing throttle. Alright, flaps are still up. Let me keep with my theory that we need the mixture rich when we're landing. We just get in line with the runway, and then we'll care about our altitude and speed. I feel pretty much in line. I'm gonna slowly bring that speed back. First level of flaps, and almost like clockwork I feel I'm way too high, or at least I don't feel that way, but I probably am. And let's do second level of flaps. Alright, gonna try and reduce my altitude a little bit. I always also feel that, you know, when you're this low and when you're flying slowly, I also feel the wind affecting the plane way more than, you know, when we're cruising. Okay, losing a little bit too much. I just want a quick visual of my flaps. It's quite a lot of flaps. There we go. Let's keep it. Okay, I'm just gonna try and focus for a bit. A little fast. Let's deploy flaps again, level 2. It's a long runway, we don't need to land at the very beginning in this small plane. Okay, focusing. Okay, so we see the wind isn't as strong as it was yesterday. That's why, or the previous video, that's why we're not landing so slowly in terms of the speed to the ground. It was probably a bit of a hard landing. It's hard for me to really know if you. It would be a fun game if you can judge my landings, maybe out of a score out of 10. I'll be interested to know what the scores are. But I think that was a decent flight. I'm glad that, you know, the plan worked. We were able to use some landmarks instead of just our VORs. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me on this shorter flight. I think the next one is going to be interesting as well, having to fly very blindly, instrument-wise at least. We'll try and see what we can do in our next planning. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.